What's up guys, Oxford King here, and in this Black Myth Wukong video, I'll be showcasing one of my favorite builds that is extremely fun. It's my favorite build that I've been using towards the end game. It destroys everything that I've went up against. It's a lot of fun. Let's get started. So this build is going to be showcasing a couple of things here. One is the tri-point double-edged spear, and you get this spear from defeating Erlong once you defeat that boss fight, which is no easy feat whatsoever. Once you defeat him, though, you're going to be granted this amazing spear. And what this spear does is it integrates spear techniques into your light attack combos, and it increases the damage dealt by your thrust stance moves. Now, this is the best part of the weapon. Upon performing forceful thrust, it shoots swords from the staff attack. You will need one focus point in order to use forceful thrust. Now, the attack rating is at 135, and you do get critical hit chance at 6%. The other thing that is a really good combination with this build here is I'm using the Spellbinder build, the Spellbinder spell. It is absolutely amazing. And later in the video, I'm going to showcase the order of which I swap out Curios and how I get my maximum mana built up before I swap over to Spellbinder to get that attack rating up even higher. Okay, so how this build works is you want to build up a focus point you see on the bottom right hand corner, and what you want to do is you want to hit one light attack or two light attacks into a heavy. And what happens is this right here, light into a heavy, and then you do this. And you saw a crit of 2099, which is absolutely insane. And that's pretty much the build. You're going to do one light attack into a heavy or two light attacks into a heavy, and then it'll produce the swords that shoot out of your spear, which is absolutely OP and insane, extremely fun. I love this build. Now for the gear piece, I'm using like the in-game stuff right now, which is the golden Fongtail crown, the golden Susui armor, the Dianchu long soaring bracers, I probably butchered that name, and then lotus silk cloud treaders. This is what I'm using. Each one of these says for a short duration after casting a spell, it moderately increases your critical hit chance. So, you know, Spellbinder is, you know, it is a spell. You do get crit hit chance right after it, but it does go away a little bit later. Feel free to use whatever you want. This build is not locked into just this armor set. I recently just finished the game, and I'm going to be using this gear set for a little bit because it looks amazing. But feel free to use whatever gear, armor you want to use. But I do want to talk about the Curios because this is something that I feel like is important with this build, at least for me. So in order to get this to work, the first thing that you want to do is you want to unequip the Curios that you have here. And you want to equip 3 of the Thunder Flame seals. And where you get these at is you're going to need to go back to chapter 3 to the temple there where that monk temple is, and you're going to farm the guys that cast the lightning, those mages. You're going to farm them, and they drop relatively frequently, so you shouldn't be spending too much time there farming these. I was able to get 3 of them in the matter of like 15 minutes. It didn't take very long at all. If you have it, be sure to equip the golden carp, which moderately increases the chance of obtaining materials from defeated enemies. I did equip this during my farming, which I felt significantly increased my chances of getting the Thunder Flame seal. So what you're going to do is you're going to equip these 3 Thunder Flame seals like so. And the reason that we're doing this is because each of these gives you 30 MP. So once you do this, if you look off to the right hand side, you're going to see right now I'm at 540 mana. Now once I've equipped this, I come up here to my spirit and I equip the one called Gourd or Diost, and it gives us a little bit more MP. Now I'm at 600 MP for maximum mana. Now you can take this a little bit further. I don't do this because right now at the time of this recording, I don't have the materials, but there is a gourd or a pellet, I think it's called, that will get you more maximum mana. And it's called the Essence Decoction. And this one right here will get you more mana. So if you have the materials to craft this, I would use this as well right before you go into your Spellbinder stuff to get you even more maximum mana. So in case you don't know, the more maximum mana you have before going into Spellbinder, the more attack damage you do. So right now, my Spellbinder is disabled and my attack rating is currently 167. So I'm going to show you what's going to happen after I go into Spellbinder mode. In fact, let's go ahead and do that right now. By the way, when you equip this stuff, you'll notice that your MP is not maxed out. Now look at the bottom left part of your screen. You see that the blue bar, it's not max. So whenever you try to hit Spellbinder, it says insufficient mana to cast. So it's kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie to you, because every time like you die from a boss, you have to redo all these steps. So the easiest way is I go to an instant shrine and I click on rest, and then it'll fill up your mana just like so. And now we can go ahead and cast the Spellbinder spell. So now that we have our MP capped, we can go ahead and hit Spellbinder, and all your mana goes away, and now you're in Spellbinder mode. Now, let's go back into the menu here. Look at my attack rating now. Now the attack rating is at 263. Now that we're in Spellbinder mode, I then get rid of the Gourd Diost, and I then equipped non-able. Feel free to check out all the other spirits you have and what equipped effect they give you. For me, I like using this one because you get crit hit chance 2% and you get crit hit damage 4%. You also get attack rating +5. Yes, your mana goes down -60, but it doesn't matter because you're already in Spellbinder mode, and the Spellbinder actually takes effect of the mana that you had at the time of executing Spellbinder. So that is very, very important. You don't need to have all that mana equipped while you're using Spellbinder. You don't need to do that. So we're kind of manipulating the system here. So I go in and equip this one right here, non-able. It gets us all the juicy stuff off to the right-hand side. Go ahead and equip that. And then you're going to come down here and unequip all the Thunderflame seals. Now, feel free to look through your inventory of what fits your play style. You can use the White Seashell Waste here that gives you slightly increased attack of +5 each one. The world is your oyster. You can choose whatever you want. But for me and what I do and what works for my play style is I go with the Cat Eye bead that increases my critical hit chance by 3%. You hit R2 to come over to the next one. You don't have to tab out of the menu. You can stay right here, hit R2. The next one I use is called Tiger Tally, which is upon successful hits with light attack combos. It moderately increases attack for a short duration. We're always doing light attack combos with this build, so go ahead and equip that. Now, before I equip the third one, fun fact, did you know that when you equip the gold button, when at full health, it significantly increases your attack power? When you equip this, your attack power goes up to 283, right? Now check this out. Whenever you unequip it, the 283 stays there. Did you notice that? Look off to the right side. When you unequip this, it's still there. So I don't know if that's like a bug in the game or that's intentional. I'm not really sure. But what I always do is I go and equip the gold button first, and then I go and equip my next Curios because it's still there from the full health benefits. So little tip there for you. For the third and final Curios, I use the Amber Prayer Beads, which moderately increases the speed of buildup of your focus points, which is very, very, very important. So I equip these. These are the three that I use. So again, it's Cat's Eye Beads for crit, Tiger Tally for increased light attack combos, and then the Amber Prayer Beads for increased focus points, okay? Now, for the Gourd, it's not really a big part of the build, but I might as well go over it, is I use the Stained Jade Gourd for massively increases your drinking speed. I have the Long Bomb for the drink, which gets us 4 soaks, and it also considerably increases damage executed by the next attack, okay? I did make a video guide about the drinks, the gourds, and the soaks. You guys give that a watch. If you have no idea about any of the gourds, drinks, and soaks and how it works, watch that video. Next up for the soaks, I have Celestial Lotus Seed, which for a brief moment after using the gourd, it slowly recovers a small amount of health. Next is Iron Pellet. This one's going to be for incoming attacks now provide considerable damage reduction. The Bee Mountain Stone basically says it won't use a gourd randomly. It won't consume a gourd use, although I rarely see that happening. The Purple Vine Peach Pit is the last one, which increases your health recovery when you're at critical health. So this one comes in pretty clutch a lot of times when you're fighting pretty hard bosses in the game. So backing out of there, now for the pellets, again, whatever materials you have the most here, you can do whatever one increases your damage, a crit hit rate. There's a lot of really, really good choices. For me, I tend to have a lot of materials for the amplification pellets. This one right here you see on screen. I have a lot of materials to craft these. So I just been using this because I don't really need to farm materials. I just grab the materials organically. So I basically made 100 of these, as you see on the screen. This says stored 100 plus the 6 that I'm holding. And this one, it says upon use, it moderately increases your critical hit chance for a long duration. So right now, my crit hit chance is showing 44%. And then so whenever I use this pellet, like so, let me go ahead and use that. And let's go and open up the crit hit chance. And where are we at now? Now my crit hit chance is 54%. Yes, you can go much higher in the game with your crit hit chance and crit hit damage. Absolutely, you can. You can manipulate this system pretty well. But this is what I like using. And these are my stats off to the far right. That's like the setup. Now for the vessel, I do use the Weaver's Needle. Now what you're going to want to do with the Weaver's Needle is you're going to want to pop this before you go into a boss fight, before you use Spellbinder, because once you use Spellbinder, it's over. You can't use vessels any longer. Another thing that I like about the Weaver's Needle against the others is your equipped effect that you get with it. It says slightly increases critical hit chance and critical hit damage. It's an equipped effect that you always have. So that's another thing that I want to talk about, is have this vessel equipped with you for this build. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the skill tree here. This is we're solely focusing on the thrust stance. I don't even have any points in smash or pillar. And take a look here. I have all the points all the way down to right here. I did stop down here. I didn't grab these, the deadly dance and ebb and flow. I felt like I didn't need them. I just felt like it was pointless. I would rather put those points somewhere else. So this is the tree. Pause the screen if you want to do so and take a look at what I have here. When it comes to the foundation, I'm like level something 110 or something like that. But if you're not in the hundreds, I would highly recommend that you take a look at your martial arts area as well, and make sure that you get at least up until the light attack finisher, which is sturdy. At least get that. And then another big one here is the maximum mana, because that is huge for the Spellbinder. So go over to the survival tree and look at Spiritual Awakening is what it's called, and try to get that maximum mana built up as quickly as possible, because as you know, the Spellbinder build leans heavily on how much mana you actually have. You could take it a step further about looking at your critical hit damage, which is Wrathful Might. Go down to the further here, you can see Surging Momentum, which is going to increase your attack. And then also the Wrathful Escalation, which is going to increase your critical hit chance. So whatever points you have, whatever level you're at, wherever you are on your playthrough, I would recommend that you look at these few points right here. And at least out of all these, get your Spiritual Awakening maxed out first. Then look at crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and then attack, and then go from there. Next, we have the Spellbinder tree. Honestly, I would just grab every single point you have here. Boon and Bane, Foregone Foregain, Light Heart, Smart Move, and All or Nothing. The All or Nothing one is really nice, as Spellbinder depletes stamina but massively increases your critical hit chance. This one's pure gold, so I would recommend you get this one. So if you don't have enough points to grab every single node here, at least make your way to the bottom and grab this one here. Another tip here is, did you know that when you go to the Transformations tab, that these skill points right here actually affect your character? And I didn't think that was the case, but I did some testing, and I also made a video about this called The Secrets of Black Myth Wukong, where when we went in here, I actually put points into Moon Roam and to Steadfast. It actually affected my character. Whenever you use Steadfast here, you actually get plus 15 defense on your character for each point you get for Steadfast. And then Moon Roam, it says each talent level moderately increases the damage of the next attack after a perfect dodge. And if you're anything like me, you have your dodging down pat, you're pretty good at dodging. This will help out your attack rating even further. So if you have extra points to spare, you know, don't sleep on Transformations tab. Even though you're not using Transformations with Spellbinder Build, come in here and at least grab these two. Take a look at all the others as well, but grab these two because they do affect your character. When it comes to the relics, I have the following, and you can choose whatever you want. This is just what I use. Nothing's, you know, set in stone here. You can refund and change whatever you'd like. But for me, I have Craving Eyes with the Keen Insight, and Keen Insight is considerably increases critical hit damage. Next up, for Fuming Ears, I have the Whistling Wind here at the bottom, which temporarily increases attack after a perfect dodge, which we do a lot of. And the Hubris Nose here, we have the Hold Breath, which moderately extends dodge invincibility duration. Next up, we have Envious Tongue, which is the Tongue of Connoisseur. Each equipped stoke slightly increases the health recovery of the drink, which comes in pretty clutch. And finally, we have Grieved Body. Everlasting Vitality considerably increases your maximum health. My favorite part about this build, that it hits like a truck. It seems like everything's fairly pretty easy, especially in New Game. I have yet to go into New Game Plus, which I'm about to do after this recording. Actually, I'm going to be going into New Game Plus and testing out this build. But in New Game, it just destroys everything that I've come across. So the pros here, it's extremely fun. The crit rate is high. The damage is good. It's a blast. Now, if you're going to ask me what the cons are, the cons are every time you die, you have to reset all of your Curios and get set up and get all your maximum mana back and then rest at the shrine. That's probably the only downside. So if you're fighting a boss, as say Erlong, for instance, and you're having to do this, you're having to die and reset all your stuff over and over and over, it can get a little annoying. That's probably the only con that I have about the build, but everything else makes up for it. It's extremely fun and versatile. I love this build. You guys drop a comment. Let me know what build would you like for me to take a look at next, and I'll be happy to record that and get it up on the channel as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.